the quality education they deserve, or just an opportunity to sit behind a desk in a classroom. Because the path to learning and acquiring skills moves beyond the availability of a building. There is so much more that contributes to the successful, enjoyable, and effective learning process. This is something that most conveniently seem to overlook. Proper education is the cornerstone to the success of any nation, and neglecting all other aspects of the teaching process can be a very brutal danger to our developing province and country. A poor curriculum, incapacitated employees, weak administration, demoralized educators, and accountability all play a critical role in the failing of our education system. We have not created an environment conducive, effective, and attractive enough to get learners to school, but most importantly, keep them there. According to the World Economic Forum, as South Africa, we are rated as one of the countries with the lowest quality of education. We ranked 140 out of the 144 surveyed. And this low quality, or should I say non-existent quality in our education, has proven to be the primary contributor to the large number of learner dropouts which have been increasing in our institutions. Learners are simply losing hope in the education system. And considering that the youth account for 62% of the population of Gauteng province, and of these, 35% have less than a secondary school education, while 33% have completed a secondary education but have never received any type of tertiary education, we are at a breaking point. It has also become a norm that learners invest 12 years of their life into the education system just to end up unemployed, or even worse, unemployable, because their records do not allow them to access tertiary institutions because the system is so poor. And they possess no skills whatsoever that could possibly permit them to seek employment. They turn to discouraged job seekers who roam our communities with no hope, years wasted behind a school desk and nothing to show for it except a piece of paper. This contributes to another layer of already discouraged learners entering into the schooling system just to drop out at the same stage, and the cycle continues. This is but one reason why we lose learners in the system, and the continued failure to correct this will prove detrimental to us as a province in the near future. A recent study took a deeper look into the high number of learner dropouts in Gauteng, which is said to be, when put together, large enough to fill a seating of a sports stadium. That is approximately 60,000 learners in a year going into the world with no tools to improve their lives and communities whatsoever. The findings of the study pointed out that children drop out of school for many reasons, and the decision to drop out is rarely at the spur of the moment. They usually drop out of school following a long process of disengagement. Many learners who drop out of school said it was boring and teachers did very little to connect with them. They did not feel invested in their school, and they didn't feel that adults seemed interested in them or their school experience. Number two is being held back, which is what we call retention. They feel they had fallen so far behind, they eventually gave hope. And number three is other life factors. Family problems and financial difficulties are all factors that distract a student from schoolwork and make keeping up more challenging. Let's go further to those that are lucky enough to make it through their high school years despite these factors. Around 50 to 60% of students at higher learning institutions drop out during their first year. Out of those who make it through, just under half of them graduate. And more often than not, this is due to academic reasons where students do not fit into the higher learning environment. This cause, like I said before, because of the low quality of education in the primary and secondary schooling. And as much as some may view this as something minor or something not so important, in reality it is. It is a major problem that needs to be taken as such, because many of the children who don't finish high school do poorly in life. Without matric certificate, they will have a harder time finding a job, and if they do, they will earn far more less than they have actually deserve. They are more likely to have poor health, to live in poverty, and to have children at an early stage, who in turn are more likely to drop out of school as well. Nationally, 70% of inmates in prison didn't graduate from high school. And in ignoring this sad reality, we'll be contributing to the downfall of our society and ultimately our economy. There are problems in the schooling system that shouldn't exist. Learners should not have to feel neglected by educators or be made to seem like an outcast because they are battling to cope, or even battle to study further because the education they received was so inadequate to allow them opportunities to make something of their lives. Schools should be a place that inspires, that molds and equip learners with the necessary knowledge and tools that would allow for them to be better members of society. But because we have neglected this fundamental sector, it is the opposite. I'm now going to... What are you saying? As the economic freedom fighters, we have made on a number of occasions our policy known as to how to turn around the education system, making sure it becomes the key resource it should be in the improvement of Gauteng province and broader South Africa. We believe that providing free quality education for the poor from early childhood development to the attainment of a post-secondary qualification, embarking on a program of providing libraries, internet laboratories, computer labs, particularly to rural schools in the province, imposing an education tax on all corporations, which will be the source of funding for the education and training of all learners in Gauteng, assist all learners who have faced academic exclusions and ensure they are redirected to other useful economic activities, ensure that the education and training is directly linked to community services and industries.
Thank you. That's fine. Honorable Simon.